What up? This is Rap Hits, and so Angela Yee has finally broke her silence on the Breakfast Club smoke between Lauren LaRosa and Jess Hilarious.
I would say this, when I initially left, they did say they were going to hire 2 people. So that was always the plan. So, I'm going to be honest, I don't know what's communicated to anybody. I know Jess was out on maternity leave, and I know that's tough too, coming back. I know she's expressed, having a baby, postpartum, all of those things take a toll. And Lauren works really hard. And Jess does too, like she's on the road. And I think part of why they hired her was because of that. Like she does comedy shows, she goes on the road. That adds a lot to the show.
Has a strong following.
Yeah. But I think a lot of times it is social media that tends to get people riled up. It's outside forces. It's not what's in the room, and that's what makes tension sometimes build. But what is good is when you can have a blow up and then work through it. And so we just have to see it publicly play out. But I think it looks like they're really working through it. And I feel like this can be an advantage because a lot of people can relate to blow-ups in the workplace, and then how do you move forward from that? Because sometimes the resentment can just build and build and build, and then everything falls apart. But if you can catch it early on, that's a good way to make sure, let's squash this.
And so Angela Yee is basically saying it's really not that big of a deal. It's just a little squabble, a little bit of smoke between the two co-hosts, and that it's actually playing out good for them if they can resolve it early and get to the bottom of it and, resolve the issue, because she's saying people can relate to that. Just a little tension between the two in the workplace and, figuring it out, catching it early, and then moving on. So that's kind of what we've been seeing. So this is a very mature take from Angela Yee, who really herself couldn't contain her emotions when she was on the show. She was angry day after day after day. Like, she would not let her go. Every day she would be real quiet. She just didn't want to beat her. You could tell. Check out my previous videos when I did the entire documentation on that situation, when it was happening live. I was explaining to everyone. Some people didn't catch it. Angela Yee had a serious attitude when she was on that show. And it was unbearable because the audience was the ones paying for her attitude, because they weren't getting the quality of a show that they deserved. And now with Jess Hilarious, we can see that she's actually changed her attitude. She actually changed her attitude, and I gotta kind of give her props for that, because, it could have went left. It could have went left. I mean, I was almost kind of expecting her to do kind of like the Angela Yee thing and be real quiet on the show, not contributing. But ever since they had that sit down where Jess Hilarious broke down in tears over that situation, her attitude has changed ever since. It's like she had that serious talk. I think behind closed doors, she had that talk, maybe with the management of iHeartRadio, because it couldn't go on like that. It couldn't go on with Jess Hilarious sitting in there being all upset, visibly upset, where the audience is getting, the audience wouldn't be getting the show that they deserve because her attitude was so bad. So Jess Hilarious, actually, I've seen her over the last week or so since that sit down, when they had a sit down with Lauren LaRosa and Jess Hilarious, and, they tried to get to the bottom of everything, and, they had that talk in the public eye. It should have, some people said that should have been behind closed doors, but who wants that? This is an entertainment business. Everybody wants to see what's going on behind the scenes, and, they want to really see it live, taking place live. That was actually the smartest thing they did, I think, because I'm sure they got a bonus check, because it looked like those views were coming in. And we saw Jess Hilarious ever since then. She has been getting along with Lauren LaRosa. You haven't seen that tension since then. And, there's been a lot of banter back and forth between Lauren LaRosa and Jess Hilarious. And to be honest, I kind of question the authenticity of their, getting along. It's like they're best friends all of a sudden. It's almost like she's putting on a show, Jess Hilarious, and being extra nice, like she's acting, That's kind of like how it almost looks, because I don't believe it's authentic, but that's what they said. They said in the workplace, Lauren LaRosa was saying, like, we don't have to like each other or get along, we don't have to hang out after work or nothing. It's just that when we're in the studio, let's be professional. And that's what Jess Hilarious been doing, but she's been kind of over whooping a little bit, it looks like. But it's good because, you know, it's been working. It's been working. But from what I saw is Jess Hilarious kind of like, it's like she does have kind of a chip on her shoulder on the inside. I think she's keeping it in. And she's making sure it's not showing in the workplace. And actually, that's a great way to handle things like that in the workplace sometimes. Sometimes you just, you know, be cool, like ain't nothing affecting you, you know what I'm saying, nothing bothering you, you know, and you don't show that. And then you can, you know, you play it off and even just exaggerate like you got an extra good attitude about everything. And that comes off sometimes as sometimes people can see through that and say, oh, you know, you sneak dissing basically. It's like you sneak dissing kind of because, you know, how nice you're being. It's like you're being overly nice type stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like how it looks like with Jess Hilarious is like almost to me, where I'm observing it like, okay, she's being super nice. Like she's cool. Like she's being real cool with Lauren LaRosa. And it's almost like, you know, she's kind of putting on a little front, it looks like to me. But it's working though. Cause, you know, they talking and, you know, they having a conversation on the show. And she, Jess Hilarious is chiming in with her opinion. She's trying to save her job. She's trying to save her job for real. At this point, I think she's doing a pretty good job, I'd have to say, though. If she keeps that up, whether it's genuine or not, she's doing what they talked about in the meeting, which was, you know, we don't have to like each other. Let's just do the show. And as long as she's putting on that, if it's authentic or not, I don't think it matters. You know what I'm saying? As long as it don't lead to no argument or nothing. As long as, you know, she knows where her place is. She's staying in her lane. You know what I'm saying? Jess Hilarious is staying with her lane. She got a little segment back. It's not called Just With The Mess anymore. It's called something else, though. It's called something similar, basically. It's basically the same thing. She's Jess, I forget what they called it. Because who's really paying attention to Jess, really? Because, I mean, in my opinion, I would, as a business decision, I'd probably just let her go. Even though Angela Yee is saying they always had a slot for her. They always had 4 slots. They was looking for 4 slots to fill. I don't buy that because really Lauren LaRosa just jumped in. She was playing a background role, collecting the news, getting all the Jess information together behind the scenes. It was never really expected for her to be a host on the show until she got pregnant. Until Jess got pregnant, it didn't look like Lauren LaRosa was supposed to really be on the front line like that. So whatever Angela Yee's saying, I mean, I guess if they got slots to keep all 4 of them, I guess they will. Why not? If they're going to pay all 4 of them, well, I know like Charlamagne and Envy going to get paid for sure. But, you know, it's like if they're going to let them both stay, then that's what it is. I guess they're going to give it a try. And like I said, I think it'll be smart for them not to renew a long contract, though, with either of them. Well, Lauren LaRosa looks like she could stay. I would give her a full contract. And then there might be future tension if they end up, you know, getting paid different. You know what I'm saying? When it's time to renegotiate the contract and it comes out where they figure out that one's getting paid more, that might, you know, especially if Lauren LaRosa gets paid more, Jess Hilarious might start feeling a certain way again. You know what I'm saying? But one thing Angela Yee did say about the whole thing is how Jess Hilarious is bringing value to the show by doing her comedy specials. She's going on tour, like she's on the road. She's doing shows. She's collecting that bag on the road, and how that helps the Breakfast Club because it's like advertisement. It's like they on tour in a way where, you know, if she's, you know, they're saying that's almost part of the strategy. And you know what? Angela Yee's attitude is so good about this, I think, is because they're under the same umbrella. You know, like they're under the same team, like when it comes to 105.1 and even iHeartRadio. I don't know if Angela Yee is on iHeart, but most likely you know, they're all under I know they're on the same radio station, but that don't necessarily mean that Angela Yee's under iHeart. But most likely they, you know, they kind of like in the same lane because they own when it comes down to it, they both on 105.1 in New York. And after the Breakfast Club, Angela Yee's show comes on. So, you know, they're like business, you know, related in that way. So of course, she's trying to smooth over the public perception of the show. It's like this interview was like scripted, I believe. It's like they told Angela Yee what to say, basically, because they're trying to smooth it out for the public. It looks like, you know, she's trying to, you know, boost them, because really, you know, if the I don't think anyone will be checking for Angela Yee's show on her own. But I did like I said, I like what she said about Jess Hilarious being on the road. That's beneficial to the Breakfast Club brand, because while they on the road, and she doing shows in city after city throughout the year, that's like promo. That's free promo for the Breakfast Club, because they see her on TV. You know what I'm saying? They see her on the Breakfast Club basically daily, and then she comes to visit people in their towns doing stand-up. That's a win. You know what I'm saying? That's a big win for that. That's where her value, I think, is really starting to shine through. So it looks like they probably do have, they secured the bag, you know, with both of them, because at this point, if they can get along, Breakfast Club is seeing the value that Jess is bringing through that. Like I said, the touring, that's bringing value to the show. As long as she don't start talking, sneak dissing them again, especially on the road during her comedy specials or anything, as long as she don't start venting out about how she really feel about them or anything on the road, even though it's comedy, you know, if she don't disrespect, I think she gonna be good. You know, Breakfast Club gonna be like, yeah, iHeartRadio gonna be like, okay, so she is bringing value to the show, you know, just by doing that. Plus, on the show, she's contributing. She has a better attitude. So she might have saved the job, it looks like. I mean, we'll see. Like I said, we'll see how things go. Anything can happen. You know what I'm saying? This thing was it was a big deal. You know what I'm saying? It went left. It went left. Now it's corrected. They corrected everything. They're back in their lane. They're back in their bag. And we're going to see how it goes. I mean, props to them for resolving the issue. Real life stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's what Angela Yee was saying. Angela Yee's like rooting them on. It looks like, I mean, like I said, I was kind of surprised by her attitude. She had such a bad attitude on that show. When Angela Yee, I think she's learning from that. Like, you know, a lot of people was like, Angela Yee gonna be salty or something. I mean, she probably clapping it up. You know what I'm saying? She probably laughing. You know what I'm saying? At that smoke they had between them, because she got out the way. You know what I'm saying? A long time ago. So Angela Yee's looking at it like, yeah, and then Jess put her name in it, like, oh, now I see what Angela Yee, you know, now I see what, now I feel her. She was saying, like, basically, Jess Hilarious was ranting. You know what I'm saying? She was saying, yeah, now she signed with Angela Yee now, and she sees what she was going through. And people was thinking, like, Angela Yee's probably, you know, thinking she made a good decision now, because she sees what's going on. Like it's Charlemagne and Envy that nobody can get along with. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, they hard to work with type stuff. And you know what I'm saying? That's what people thought Angela Yee's attitude was gonna be. Like an evil twin type stuff, you know what I'm saying? But really, she had a really professional response. And Angela Yee had a very professional response. And yeah, props to them. You know what I'm saying? Props to them. So let me know what y'all think in the comment section and all that. This has been Rap HITZ. Let's get those likes up. Let's get 100 likes on this video. Make sure you subscribe and all that. Check the description box for links. I'm out.